Perfect. There we go. All right. So let's add a few more keywords here, keyword plan, and then we're actually going to start looking at how to get those into your Google advertising account, your Google Grant account, and building that out. Okay.
All right.
And again, always just feel free to interrupt me if you have any questions. Now remind me, you are by Houston, Texas, correct? Is that correct?
Sorry?
Is that your Katy is near Houston, correct?
Houston, yes, around Houston,
okay.
Katy, Houston, Sugarland, Richmond area. Yeah.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to look up some other areas near you, because if someone doesn't search for your city name, maybe they're searching for something around there. Okay, and again, so for example, let's say Houston. Okay, now there's some strategy here that I want you to know, because when you have a paid Google Ads account or any paid advertising account, we have to be conscious of your budget, right? We don't just want to target all of Houston, because that's a lot of people. That's, people on the other side of Houston are never going to drive to your church every week, or very few of them, right? Now, so if we were doing a paid advertising account, it would be like a 10-mile circle around your church, and we'll advertise in there to keep your costs low, but the people responding as many as possible, right?
Oh yeah.
With your Google Grant, we have to find tons and tons of people to advertise to. So it doesn't hurt to advertise to all of Houston if you would like the exposure. So what we'll do to, increase the number of ads seen is we'll go a little bigger than, maybe 10 miles around your church. We'll show ads, to a larger area. So that's what we're doing here, since we do have the budget. And so churches in Houston, there we go. Okay, so that's a search that we'll probably go after right there. All right, so churches in Houston. I signed out. Okay, I got to sign back in here. Give me one moment.
Okay.
Yes. Is your afternoon going okay for you?
Oh, we give God thanks. Going very well. Just getting ready for the class. That's what I've been doing. Yeah.
Good. Wonderful. Okay, so churches in Houston, and we've got 2,900. Right, so that's a that's a decent search.
Yeah.
All right, so 2,900. Okay, now let's see. So, and this varies based on minister and pastor. Some pastors don't like this, some pastors do. You can advertise to the names of the other churches in your area. And so some pastors, I'll just kind of tell you how this goes. Some pastors will say, well, we're not really in competition with these other churches. We're all a part of the body of Christ, and we don't want to do that. That would make us uncomfortable. And I get that, because we are all on the same team. The goal is to share the gospel message. So in that sense, we are on a team. In a different sense, it's actually beneficial for the church as a whole if we're all competing against each other, because if you're competing against all these other churches and they're competing against you, we're all becoming stronger. We're all doing more to meet the needs of, the potential churchgoers, and the church who can meet those needs most effectively is the one that church people will go to. So that's kind of two sides. Yeah, two sides of the coin, and up to you if you want to consider doing that.
Oh, I've already subscribed to your gospel. Oh, I'm going over your book again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I already put that one in there. Yeah. Okay, so we've got churches in Houston. I just saw another one. Churches in Houston, Texas. In the morning. Yeah. That one, and that's 1,600.
Yeah. So you can go ahead and we can also compete with other churches. Okay. I'm very okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
City Church, Lakewood Church. Now, let me ask you a question. Are there any other churches who are similar to yours that you know of that are large in Houston, you know,
Okay.
that maybe have a similar target audience? I know you have a lot of African
Okay.
Americans.
Okay. Like there's a Grace. There's like that's the Second Baptist Church in Houston. That's that second. Yes.
Similar.
Yeah. Well, not really, but it's
So
a
my
place. Yes, that
so
that
here's let me
attracts
separate.
people.
Maybe I can qualify my question. Okay.
Yep.
There's obviously teaching, and then
Yep.
there's your audience. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so does the church, I'm not worried about as much as what they teach, as much
Okay.
as is the audience that is interested in that church similar to your audience?
Yes.
Okay, then that's what we're interested in. Okay. And this is great because, hey, if whatever Second Baptist Church teaches really resonates with this
Yeah.
audience more, they're going to go there. If what you can do meets their needs better, they're going to come to you.
Yeah. It's maybe also okay. Let's keep it at that. That's it. That's it.
Okay. What's it? Say churches in Houston.
Okay, let me just tell you, the Second Baptist Church around the area where I'm at, usually when African Americans, they can't locate, a good African American church, that's usually where almost all of them go to.
So that's kind of the catch-all. If they can't find something near them, then they end up going to Second Baptist.
Yes, to that place, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. That's really, really good to know. So, okay, that's really good to know. Okay, let's keep looking here. Hillsong, Hope City Church, Lakewood Church, Grace Bible Church, Lighthouse Church, Catholic Christian Church, Cathedral, Bethel, First Presbyterian, Chinese, Houston Faith Church, Northwest. Okay, so Second Baptist Church Houston, that's the same thing, right?
Yeah, but I don't know whether it will be around the place exactly.
Okay.
Because
Well, I think
this one is in my area and there are many.
Okay, well, that's okay. Because we'll just add, if it's Second Baptist and it's similar to the one you just told me, then we're just gonna go for those names too. And not only this is a different keyword. This may be the exact same church, but notice instead of typing out second as the word, they put it in as the number.
Okay.
See that? So you got an additional 500 people searching that church by just putting in the number.
Okay.
So
480.
Yeah. 480. Okay. And then let's see here. Baptist Church in Houston, Texas. Is that something you want to advertise to? It sounds like maybe your audience.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because
maybe your audience is kind of falling toward that denominational.
Yes, because I grew up as a Baptist.
Okay. Very good. Okay, church for sale, City Church, Gateway Church. If there's anything in here that strikes you, let me know. Grace Community Church, non-denominational, West Houston. Oh, hey, here, look, Black churches in Houston.
Okay.
Excellent. So that's got almost 400 searches a month. So that's something worth going after.
Okay, I thought we didn't do that yesterday. I thought we added it yesterday or something.
Let's look. Birthday online. Well, so this is near me. So Black church is near me. And that is one keyword, but this is Houston, right? So what we'll do is, what we're going to do today is we're going to go in here and we're going to break these keywords into groups of ads. So Black churches Houston and Black churches near me are those are going to be in the same group, but you're exactly right. It's similar. 390. Okay. Okay. Episcopal, Grace, Life Church, New Life Church. Okay, looks like we've pretty much got the good ones out of there. Now, how about this? You said Sugarland?
Yes, Sugarland.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's look at that. Churches, Sugarland Bible Church. Is that the name of a church?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I don't know them.
Let's look that up, because if they're looking for a Christian church, that is not the name of a church, then that could be a keyword we go after. Let's see. Sugarland Bible Church. If there's a church named Sugarland Bible Church, then that will probably be, yeah, okay. So there's actually a church named
It's
Sugarland
a
Bible
church, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So let's see. I'm kind of half tempted to put that on there. Sugarland Church of Christ, Triumph. Sugarland Church has 110. Okay, so here, look at this, and I'll give you another little tidbit on keyword training here.
Okay.
Okay. Notice all these. Okay.
Yep.
One thing when we're doing the keywords, we do have to be creative to some degree. Okay. If we do it like everyone else, we get the same results as everyone else. And so notice Sugarland Church. Notice that there's 110 searches, 42 difficulty. Okay. But if you're comfortable advertising to another church name, you get 1,000 searches at 24 difficulty.
Oh, wow.
So, and again, I guess granted, what we're looking at here is actually cost per click since we're using grants. However, the Google grant, however, you can see, like, if you're creating a piece of content and you're choosing a keyword, why would you go after this one, even though this is the normal keyword that, maybe you should go after? This has 110 and 42. Why would you make a piece of content for this when you could just get more people for less work? Right?
Okay. Now, the question I want to ask is this. According to the rules that guides the grant, if I put specific keywords of other places, am I violating?
No.
Okay, that's all I just want to know.
The main thing.
If I'm not violating, then please, let's go ahead.
You can put Zimbabwe in there, like they don't care.
No. What I mean is, like, for instance, if I put what's the name? Lakewood Church. Now I put it.
Yes. So if you put, let me show you something here. This will be in our training here a little later.
Yeah.
I'm going to go over to our site, clickmill.co, and there's actually, back end again. My computer automatically loads the back end of the website.
Yeah.
So there's actually an image in our previous the training that you actually found us through. There's an image on the blog that shows the structure of a Google advertising account, and this is going to be really important for you to see. Okay? And this is going to kind of give you some clarity on how you add those different locations, because you're going to be running your own Google grant in the future. Scrolling down here real quick. There we go. Okay. This is the structure of a Google advertising account. Okay.
Yep.
So you've got the account itself, and then you have your campaigns. So if someone's saying, hey, I made a new advertising campaign, that could be any number of groups of ads. Okay. So these keywords that we're putting in our spreadsheet right now, we're going to break these apart into groups of ads. So for instance, if you say Best Church Sugarland, that's an ad group. And then we say Best Church Katy, Best Church Houston, right? So we've got all of these different ad groups. So if you want to use a different location, you don't just want to throw the keyword in there anywhere. You want to create a group of ads that advertises specific. So if we say, churches in Houston, and that's the keyword, the ads should say Best Church in Houston, services start at this time, or join online, something like that. So the keyword is always in the ad. Okay. And then the campaign level, the campaign houses all of the similar groups of ads. So a campaign would be church services, and then you would say, Sugarland Church, Houston Church, Katy Church, like all of these similar would just be grouped under one campaign. So the campaign kind of holds all of the groups of ads. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does make sense. Yeah.
So to that point, if you want to add a different location or a different product, that's totally fine. But a lot of people will just throw all the locations into one group of ads. But now you've got one ad that says best church, and you're trying to convince Google to show best church to Katy and to Houston and to Sugar Land and to who knows where. And Google's like, well, you can't be in all these places at once. We're not gonna show you that,
Yeah.
right? So we have to make sure that those keywords flow naturally into the ad text. And that means you have to split them up.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah, beautiful.
All right. Okay, so yeah, so one thing here that I'll point out too, if we are making content on your website, if you're choosing, like we were talking yesterday, in Nigeria, if that's a place where God's calling your ministry to expand, those prayer requests,
The birthday prayers, yeah, and all that.
Those, right, we were looking at those, and those had high search volume and low cost per click. They were like 5 cents a click, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can get tens of thousands of those if we do it right. Now, here, if we're advertising in Sugar Land, you'll notice that Sugar Land Church has zero, there is nobody advertising. So there's 110 free searches up for grabs. That's excellent. That doesn't happen very often. Okay. Well, it happens more in in kind of the Christian circle, but not as much in other industries. It's the Christian industry, I guess.
Okay.
So you'll notice which ones are zero. Those are easy to advertise to.
Okay.
So with the Google grant, the strategy is target the lowest cost per click. And so you'll notice up here, Sugar Land Bible Church, this has $3.60.
Okay.
So that's actually fairly high. Okay. And so what's happening here is Sugar Land Bible Church is probably advertising to their own name. And then you have a bunch of other church people, church leaders who've come in here and they don't actually know how to read keyword research. And they just see this big number and they advertise to this.
So their name, okay.
So that's why this one's the most expensive. But then you come down here to Sugar Land Church and it's free, essentially, right?
Yeah.
Now so this is advertising. Now, if you're doing content on your website, organic, remember we talked about organic.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're going to post a blog about Sugar Land churches or whatever, you are going to have a harder time ranking that blog organically on Google because this is more difficult. So in that scenario, it's less searches and it's more difficult. In that scenario, I would write a post that includes the keyword or even targets the keyword Sugar Land Bible Church, because now I get a $3.60 click every time someone finds me organically, and I only have to, outrank a 24 difficulty, front page of Google as opposed to a 42. This is very different. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Was that making sense? Do you have any questions?
Oh, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense.
Excellent. So there's definitely strategy depending on whether you're doing paid advertising, the Google grant, the organic ranking with content.
Okay.
So I just really want you to have that, because when you're going back on your own and you guys are putting up your own content, you're going to be able to really kill it with your content. So anyway, so let's do this. We're going to take Sugar Land Church for sure, because that's essentially free. Triumph, Sugar Land Baptist. We're going to take Sugar Land Baptist as well, because we already said that is similar to your audience. Sugar Land Church, I think, 70. Check that. 110, and this is 1. Okay. That's 110. That was 320.
Yeah.
And
redeemed Christian churches too.
Redeemed, REDEEMED.
Redeemed Christian Church. Yes, Redeemed Christian Church.
Okay. Now this is going to give us a nationwide. Oh, Redeemed Christian Church of God. Okay. Well, that's
yes. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Okay. Redeemed Christian Church. Okay. So then the question I want to know here is, I got to refresh here. What I want to know is local. So we're going to go use that keyword tool to actually search that locally and see if that's really worth the time that it'll take to build this out. You know, if there's only 10 searches a month, then we'll probably skip it. If there's some amount, we'll go with it. But that's great. Yeah, and you can see why too. Before I put this in, you can see why if you as a pastor understand this, you can actually get better results than me as a marketer, because I don't know what the Redeemed Church of God is. I would never even know to look at that. If I found it in the search results, it wouldn't stick out to me. You know, it would be I would have to do a significant amount of research to know that, you know, you guys have a similar audience to the Baptist churches in your area. That's something that you know. So if you actually know how to do the keyword research, you can do it better than any marketer can, because you know what's going on around you. So just to point that out.
Okay.
Okay, so you said Redeemed
Christian Church.
Christian Church. Now we're going to go from the United States. We're going to retarget, and we're going to say, let's just say Houston. Go back to that 15 million target. You know what? We're going to do the Nielsen DMA regions a little bit larger. And it kind of just takes that whole area.
Okay.
Right? Okay, so Redeemed Church here has only 10, that specific church. However, Redeem Church near me. And what is RCCG? You know what that is?
Yes, that is Redeem. Is Redeemed Christian Church of God.
Okay, well then we'll put both of these in there. Okay. That's thought. So we're going to go down here. And then grab this guy. Redeemed Church near me has 1. So these both have 1. Now, you can also put catch-all, redeem. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're also going to put this in here.
Okay, redeem. It's actually supposed to be redeemed.
Right. Well, and I understand people are looking up redeem. Right. So again, this is, you know, and see, this one does have redeemed.
Redeemed. Right? Okay, people are not spelling it correctly.
Right. Well, and not only that, but when you think about how do people search on Google, okay, so there are what are called short tail keywords. You remember this from the reading? Okay, so there's the short tail keywords, and they're always going to have a higher volume, even if it's spelled wrong. Oftentimes, the shorter word is going to have more volume. So even just throwing in, you'll notice redeem, like people would prefer say RCCG, as opposed to saying Redeemed Church of God, because that's more typing. So people on the internet are very quick to try to find the simplest way to do something. Okay. So yeah. Now, how do we feel about Redeemed Community Church? Is that similar?
Well, let's check it, boys. But it's not Redeemed Christian Church.
Yep. Didn't get anything new with that.
Okay. It's not,
So we've got any other major areas before we start grouping these into
Richmond, Texas. Richmond, Texas. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll say churches, Richmond, like that. RICHMOND.
Richmond, Texas. Yep.
Okay. Virginia. All right.
Texas. Richmond, Texas. Yeah.
Okay, so we're looking for Catholics, churches. Okay, churches in Richmond, Texas. Okay, so check this. This is really good. So you got churches in Richmond, Texas, 260 searches a month, $5 a click. So if you can, those are right, especially if you can get that. You notice that the keyword difficulty, I'm sorry, these bubbles keep popping. Keyword difficulty is very low. So if you can put a page on your website that says churches in Richmond, Texas, and you can say, like an article, the top 10 most influential churches in Richmond, Texas. And then you say really great things about all these churches, right? And you say, here's the greatest church if you're looking for this kind of church. Here's the greatest church if you're looking for this kind of church. And if you're
Okay.
looking for, this kind of church, you should definitely come over to us, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
all you're doing is you're saying nice things about other churches and their
Yeah.
audience, which is different than
Mm.
yours. So they're not competing with you. And
Yeah.
then you're telling people to come to you. And so every time someone clicks on that article, it shows up organically because you know how to outrank people online. You're essentially getting $5 every time someone clicks on it. Okay. And the way that that's measured, right? The way that that's factored is when we pay for advertising with real dollars, we want to make sure that whatever it costs to get someone to take action, whether it's donating online or coming into your church, right? The way that this would traditionally be done is, let's say I have to get 20 people to click on my website and one of them will save a seat and then they actually show up. Does that one person ultimately tithe more over the course of their tenure with your church than you paid in ads? And that is when your advertising is worth, you're not losing money trying to grow your
All right.
Either way. So it's really nice to get those $5 clicks because they're paying for these because people are actually showing up.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is great. Churches in Richmond, Texas.
Yeah.
All right. And there were 260 of those every month. Okay. Okay. Now, one last thing that we may want to, what major services does your church offer? Do you have Bible studies? Do you have, I can pull up the website again. Obviously Sunday services. What else do you guys offer?
We do Bible studies. If you go to events, it's like the internet is slow.
Yeah, the internet is going a little.
I'm also experiencing it over here. Something is happening. Kind of like slow.
Oh. There we go. Wait a minute, this isn't right. Store. I meant store. That's why. Okay, there we go. That's right. I think I told you the other day, we've had a lot of rain here.
Yeah,
every time it rains, we get power outages and the Wi-Fi goes out. I don't know, maybe it's
power outages. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, so it's really unusual. So
events. Yeah, so we have just click events itself.
Oh, just the events?
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
So
upcoming church events. So we've got Bible study, business prayer, which we've already got stuff for, Friday prayer, Sunday service celebration, and celebrate Jesus Day. Is this continuous? Is this?
Yes, it's continuous, but it's our Sunday service celebration.
Oh, this is just Sunday service. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. Okay, so then what we want to make sure we include in probably the last thing we'll do, and we'll move on here, is we'll go Bible study near me. Okay, so now this again is nationwide.
Wow.
Bible study near me. So we'll go into our spreadsheet and we'll create that. Okay. I'm not going to put a number there.
Or maybe Bible study in Houston or Katy.
Exactly.
Okay, we didn't do Katy where we are really.
Yes, we can do that. Okay. So community Bible study, Houston, Texas. Great. So we'll take that, 70 searches a month. And what you'll notice too is the more specific these get, there's nobody advertising Bible studies. Essentially free again, right? So Bible study Houston. So yeah, Bible study groups Houston. That's great. This first one has 70 searches a month. 70. This one, Bible study group Houston. That one, that's 30 searches. We probably don't want to go too much lower than that because traffic. And then we'll do Katy. Bible study Katy. Katie ORR Bible study. Does that bring any?
No, not at all.
So how about Bible study Sugarland?
Yeah.
Nothing. And what were the other major areas?
Richmond,
Okay.
Richmond, Texas.
Okay. Oh yes, Richmond, Texas. Probably won't happen. Okay,
No.
and then did we do churches in Katy?
No churches in Katy.
Look. Okay, so churches in Katy. There we go. So we've got 720 there. Okay.
Yeah.
And that has and denominationals, Baptist. Okay, so you said second, we're definitely going to want to advertise Baptist.
Yeah.
And
what of black churches in Katy or something?
yeah, let's see. Well, then let's see if it shows up. So Epiphany Baptist, Epiphany King's Baptist. Tell me if any of this strikes you.
African American churches.
Aha, there we go. Great.
Yeah.
Great. And that is 50. Okay. Church jobs, Church of Christ, church preschools. You guys don't have any kind of school or any other services like counseling or anything like that?
Yeah, but not preschool. We do have the counseling, but those are out of church, not really.
Do you offer premarital counseling or funeral?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Well, and again, all of that's stuff that you can add to your Google grant.
Okay.
Is that something that you want? Is that something you want to include or no?
Yeah, we want to include anything that would give us the visibility and the
Okay.
We're ready.
So, yeah, and these keywords are getting small enough. With even the local stuff, I kind of stop around 40 or 50. So here's Church of God. That's what we're looking for you. 40. Okay. So then we will look up. That's more of a bigger event. So we'll say, and do you officiate marriages? I think that's the right word.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm trying to think of what I use for that. I'm short of words. Let me think. What would you call that?
I don't. Is it marriage counseling and?
Well, let's do that. That's at least easy. So if you get them in premarital counseling, they're probably making you. So
Premarital counseling.
What?
Yeah.
That's obviously going to be a large term. That's nation. So we're just going to take this premarital counseling, then we'll add in your me in there. Counseling and premarital counseling. Near me. Okay. Then what we'll do is we're going to do premarital counseling Houston.
Okay.
Now let's see how much this really has. Houston. So there are definitely people advertising to this. So the cost per click is quite high here. And I'll remind you, the average cost per click is, somewhere between $1.50 and $2 across industries in 2020. So this is quite high because, again, this is profitable. So, people are advertising this now. That said, you can create a page on your website called Premarital Counseling Houston. And you can rank that fairly easily because, again, it's only 25 different.
Okay.
So
All right.
again, going back to strategy a little bit, if the cost per click is really, really high, that usually means that all of those search terms are paid by people advertising with real money, right? And that means that the Google grant probably isn't going to get a lot. So the two ways you can get this, if this is something that you want, is you can use a paid advertising account to outbid these people with real money. Or you can put an article on your website, essentially for free, talking about your premarital counseling services and how you do it and your process and all this stuff, and then say, contact us today if you're interested in premarital counseling,
Okay.
and then you can rank organic. So
Okay.
some strategy talking about kind of all three angles there. Now we also have Christian premarital counseling Tuesday.
Okay.
So we will, wow. Now that's interesting. You see this, Pastor, the trend is low, 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 and then just skyrockets. I didn't actually.
Okay.
That's really interesting. I would wonder why that is. Okay. Anyway, Christian premarital counseling. I was just trying to.
Okay.
Okay.
So the same article can contain the two keywords.
I'm sorry, say it again.
I said the same article can contain the two keywords.
Yeah. So when you write an article, for example, I'll show you here. Okay. So Google Search Console, this is a tool that basically indexes, okay, if Google's like a phone book, you got to call Yellow Pages and say, hey, I want you to put my phone number in there, and I want you to put my name of my church, and you give them, whatever they ask for to index you. Right? Same thing with Google. If you want your information indexed quickly, you come to this program, Google Search Console. This is totally different from advertising. This is going to organic ranking. Okay? So if you want to show up on Google naturally, without paying, without a Google grant, you come in here. And what we're going to do is we're going to type our URL up here. So like, for example, I just tried to rank this one the other day. This is a fairly new blog. And this basically says, hey, Google, instead of just finding our page by accident, I want you to rank this right now. So URL is not on Google. I actually submitted this yesterday. I don't know if they have some kind of problem with their tool, but this is going to tell Google to go put that in right now. Okay. I'll do this later. I won't make you watch that. It takes a few minutes.
Okay.
Now, that said, you come in here and I'll show you, okay, here's the pages. Here is the article, church marketing. This is one of our higher performing articles.
Okay.
So I'm only looking at people searching church marketing. Now watch this. When I go to queries, it will tell me what people have put into Google to find this article. Okay. And you'll notice just in the last, I'll expand the time to 6 months. Okay. And you'll see I put this article up maybe 5 minutes. Okay. So either way, the digital. So in terms of keywords, the keyword I'm trying to rank this one is church marketing, which does have, it is showing, got over almost 6,000 impressions. So it does show, but I'm also getting people clicking primarily from digital marketing for churches, church digital marketing, church marketing online, church marketing agency. So yes, any article can rank. I mean, this has 180 keywords that it's ranking. Okay. So what you do when you are creating a piece of content is you will look up one primary keyword and then a bunch of secondary keywords, right? Those are, I'll give you the word just because we're training. It's called LSI keywords. I have no idea what that stands for. However, it basically means you've got a focus keyword, and then the LSI keywords are the periphery, right? They're the outside keywords. So if we were to go, and I'll show you really briefly, if we were to go here, okay, so I'm going to go to this first one. This is the article we were just looking at in that Google Search Console account. If you don't have one, I would just tell you to set one up. Like a lot of great information there. Okay, so you'll notice that the main keyword I'm shooting for in this article is church marketing, which is in the link, and I have church marketing in the title. Okay, so that's the keyword I'm trying to go for. And you'll notice in the first 100 words here, this is another
Yeah.
thing we want, is church marketing. So as Google's
Yes.
little artificial intelligence bot is scrolling through the website, it sees church marketing in all these places.
Yeah.
And it says, okay, they're trying to rank for the core focus keyword of church marketing. But what you'll notice then, church marketing strategy.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a different keyword.
Keyword,
So
yeah.
before I ever wrote this article, I went and I looked for church marketing, and then I looked for a whole bunch of related keywords that could comfortably and sensibly go into the article.
Into it. Oh,
Okay, so same thing with you.
okay.
If you write an article, if you write a page, you can say premarital counseling in any number of different ways.
Okay.
As long as they're congruent and they all say the same thing, Google is going
Yeah.
to rank you better. Okay.
Thank you.
Of course. Okay, so we've got premarital counseling. Yeah, that's all good. Okay, so let's just go with that. Let's start breaking this up because I really want to make sure that we're getting your account built out. And we really do have quite a few good searches. Now, what I do want to point out is okay, so what we're going to be doing, a lot of these are local. So we're focusing on your local. Obviously, we want people showing up to whatever degree we can purchase that traffic with the grant, which is going to be lower. Okay. And then once we have all these local ones built out, we want to spend as much of your grant making an impact as possible. And then, one of the particular, series, maybe video series you can put out on your site is how to pray, birthday prayers.
Yes, I've already started.
Perfect. Yeah, it's very exciting.
Yeah.
And so
Yes.
as you create those, that will start spending your grant until it's gone. Okay. And obviously we want to target your primary audience. And we want to make sure on those pages that we have a call to action, just like we were talking about yesterday, we have a call to action where it's a sensible next step. Hey, if you loved this birthday prayer, if you loved this prayer for your boyfriend or prayer for your father, then you should definitely consider downloading our 2-week prayer guide.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes. Yeah.
So that's how that works. Okay. So then let's break these up. Okay, we've got sermon on prayer. Okay, so this is we're just going to have that being a first keyword, and we're going to make that kind of a pinkish color. Okay. Come on. Okay, not going to do it. There we go. Okay, so there we go. That's sermon on prayer. Okay, so prayer for business, prayer for my business. There we go. Typo. So prayer for my business. Okay, so we got prayer for my business, prayer for my business, prayer for my business to prosper. Those are obviously the same, so we're going to highlight these as the same color, and we'll make those. Okay, so we've got entrepreneurial, Christian entrepreneur content, and so maybe we'll make that more red. Go. Okay, now we have the Benson, Bishop Benson.
Yeah.
So he'll need his own ads. There we go. Okay, so now we've got sermon on hope, sermon on faith. So these are really going to be there as well. I'm not even going to highlight them. I find run out of colors here. Hope. Okay, so now we're going to highlight it because there's some more. So hope in times of despair, hope in the Bible, sermon on hope. Now, as I'm looking at this, make that green. Something else that comes to mind is just some of those like this, losing hope. That's kind of the flip side. And look, in the United States, 2,900 people are losing hope. And so, losing hope in life. And so if these are relevant to the sermons that you are putting out or want to put out, you can say, I hear all the time people tell me that they're losing hope. There's your keyword. Well, here's how we find action. You know, the world tells us all this stuff, but here's where we get action. Even when so, you know, maybe we'll even throw that in there and just see if it gets traction, right? So that's 2,900, and that's how we reach the lost online, is by going to keywords.
Okay.
So we're going to where's ad? There we go. Okay, so we're going to say losing hope. Boy, that is sobering. Okay. And you can add, you know, you can go back in to the Google keyword tool and you can add 50 keywords on losing hope and make a whole sermon series on it. And have the biggest, baddest sermon series on the internet about losing hope. And
Okay.
Either way, hope. So we're going to make this the green as well. That, yep. Okay, so Church of God. Go. That more of a teal. Teal. So right now what we're doing is we're breaking these apart so we know how to organize the advertising. Okay, so Church of God near me, churches near me, Christian churches near me, non-denominational. So here's what we're going to do. The generic churches, we're going to church lives. Okay. The generic church searches, we're going to do one color at orange, and then we may even make Christian. That's also generic. And then let's see, Pentecostal Church of God. Those are more or less.
Evangelical. Okay, near me. Okay, we are still doing near me.
Yeah. Okay. So then maybe I'll make those a dark green. Now, church service near me. That is also going to be orange, very similar to those. Google will, in all likelihood, know the difference. Now, church live stream, live church service.
Online.
Those are going to be, well, and online's a little bit different. So, watch live church services online. That's got both, so that could probably go both. But online and live are a little bit different. So we're going to put those in online. And then here's online, which is all those online. That one pink. Wow. Okay, so we'll do birthday prayer as its own ad group. Okay.
Yep.
And here we'll go to purple. There we go. Now, the way that you can organize this faster is okay. So here, and you go to your messages. Okay. If you have a sermon series, you want to have a place where you can advertise sermon series on prayer. Okay, so sermons on prayer. Okay, let's see if that's
okay.
So let's go. There we go. Okay. So sermons on prayer. Here we go. 1,300 searches a month. Okay, so if they're looking up anything related to prayer, you're going to send them to one page that has all of your sermons on it about prayer. So, get access to this whole sermon on prayer and, examples for prayer for your father, prayer for your mother, like all of this. Okay. So what that means is on this page here, I'm telling you how to structure this for best results.
Okay.
You've got your messages page, right? If you have a series, so these are individual messages.
Yeah.
If you have a series, you can also put one of these for the whole series. Okay. And when they click on the link to say,
like if you click on the name now, my name, it brings out like the Victor Ayodele, the name, my name on top.
Oh.
Yeah, it will. If you click on it, it will bring
all of yours up.
Yes.
Okay. And that's good. And that's one way you can organize and sort those, and that's fine. What I would say too is you want to have a place where they can select the series, because as it is here.
Okay. Maybe I should put it in the menu of the message.
Yeah, like, yeah, exactly. And so they, in some way, they need to be able to select the series. So like, what if I only want sermons on prayer? Well, I have to sort through here all your business sermons and all your crisis sermons and all these other things.
Okay.
How do I, so topically. And so if you can give them a page that is only prayer sermons, and someone looks, right, because this is how the keywords work. If someone looks up sermon on prayer, you have to give them all your sermons on prayer and nothing else, or they'll get confused and they'll leave. Okay. So somehow,
can you try also messages on prayer?
Yeah, of course. So let me grab this first, because
I'm gonna send this to you. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Happy birthday prayer. Okay, here we go. Insert. Okay. So here is this sermons on prayer, and that has 1,300.
It is sermons.
Sermons. I don't know. I think I copied that. Nope, it's sermon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was looking at what you typed. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Sermon on prayer. Now you said messages.
Yeah. Messages.
Okay. Okay, and so you'll notice this doesn't exist. Message on prayer line. Yeah, so this is interesting, because I was thinking that could potentially be a really good one, but we don't know until we look it up. It's just really interesting. Now, what's interesting though, culturally, people look up different things. So maybe we look up Nigeria, right?
Yeah.
And maybe that's something that's really searched heavily over there.
No.
Okay, so let's go back over here. Sermons on prayer. Let's see if this is a thing. Okay, so sermon on prayer is, and again, it's sermon, not sermons. You and I think when we're in ministry, we think sermons because we're writing them all the time, right? But they're thinking one, because they're just looking up one sermon. I can only watch one at a time,
So,
interesting. Okay, so we'll skip the messages. And of course, depending on what you do, right? If you just want to do these prayer examples, like here's how to pray for your father, right? Okay, so you've got that. But if you want to branch this out and make it even more in depth, what about how to pray? Okay. And this is where you can really attract a lot of people into your ministry, because this is going to be a large search. How to pray. This is 18,000 searches a month in the United States, and it's only 92 cents a click. So that's, again, lower than the average you can find at $1.50 to $2. Okay. Now, this is also a very difficult search. So it's good that you have a Google grant, because your website probably isn't going to rank for this again. Okay. This is also an opportunity with the Google grant, because there's no real way right out the front gate to make a profit, right? To make sure that you're being stewardess with your church advertising funds with this, because how do you get people that want to pray to then donate? Well, there's a long process there, and it's difficult to implement. So the Google grant gives you the ability to advertise to this where you otherwise wouldn't. Okay. So how to pray to God. So we'll put both of those in there.
Okay.
How to start a prayer. And so here's a great example. And again, this is more just training, but let's say you were to make a sermon series and you were to write an article, because that's how you're going to rank organically on Google, is by having the video and the text under the video on any given sermon page, right? How to pray is your focus keyword. Okay, that's the one you really want to go after here.
Yeah.
But how to start a prayer is part of that.
Yes, can be embedded into it.
Exactly. So
can I quickly ask a question?
Yeah.
Sorry, please, maybe be unrelated. Towards your right, to the right, under SERP features.
Oh, SERP features, okay.
I could see a crown by that, how to start a prayer. What does that mean?
Let's see, a short answer to use search query. This is a featured snippet. Okay, so the search engine, okay, so firstly, SERP stands for search engine result placement, and that's just a fancy term for this is what shows up on Google.
Oh, okay.
So, for example, it appears that how to pray the rosary includes pictures. So this has an image pack. So at the top, you'll see a bunch of rosary images.
Okay.
This one is a knowledge panel, how to pray. And this has whatever, I'm actually not familiar with my knowledge panel. But if we come down here, this is a featured snippet. And this is going to be a little informational box that pops up in the top that says, here's how you start a prayer.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Yes, of course. Okay. So I'll just put these in there for you since we looked up these. And again, you can add these in as you're building out your, your content.
Content, yes.
And, again, and this is for you. What did I say? 18,100. And again, this is for you and anybody else who may watch this video in the future. You start prayer. Yep. Okay. And then you can always come in and do more. It's 2,400. Okay. Yeah. So when we choose the keywords, we want to do it two ways. You obviously want to start with who your congregation already is and what they care about. Because you always want to speak to your audience. Your audience also happens to be online. So the second thing you have to do is you have to say, how is the same audience online searching for what I'm already making? Okay. So then once you know that, so for example, if you want to write a sermon on prayer, instead of, naming it, Gideon's super powerful prayer, you mean whatever it is from the Bible that we want to call it, the name of the chapter and verse or something. Nobody's looking that up. So we want to, have the sermon that we feel God's leading us to speak to the congregation that you have. But then how are people actually looking for that online? And we want to bring those two together. So you speak to your congregation, but you also have it phrased in such a way that it gets the message out to people when you post it. And that way I think when you do it that way too, it reduces the workload, because a lot of churches are preaching on Sunday and then saying, well, how do we create a bunch of content for our website? And it's double the work. If you just do a little keyword research, your sermons are the content for the site.
Yes,
right.
That's what you said in your book.
Yeah. And so again, we want to minimize, we want to recycle content as much as possible. You guys already make a ton of content. Okay. So let's see, Christian book, top Christian discount. Okay, excellent. So we're just going to take all of those and we're going to turn that into an ad group. And we'll make that one blue. Okay, doubting in God, books on faith, how to have faith, increase my faith. So these are excellent. And we're going to turn those maybe a different shade of blue. That's not shade, difference. There we go. Okay, so let's see. We've got Houston. So this is going to be a Houston ad group.
Okay.
Houston. Sugarland Church, Sugarland. Okay, so then we'll have a Redeemed Church. Churches in Richmond. Okay, Community Bibles. Okay, these are Bibles.
Houston. They're still Houston, Community Bible Study.
Yes, and we're going to have churches Houston.
Okay.
Bible Study Houston is going to be different enough. We'll probably want it.
Okay.
So to your point, okay, so let's see here. Yeah, so we'll have Sugarland Church, make that its own thing. I'm running out of colors here soon. Redeemed, so we're going to have all your Redeemed Church. That's its own ad group.
Okay.
That's that color. Churches in Richmond. So that was the only one we really found there. So I don't need to really do anything there.
Okay.
Now, Bible study near me, Houston, Katy. See, this is different. Church of God, Katy. Yeah, we did that last. African American Church, Katy. These may be different. They're not very big. Churches Katy, Texas. Community Bible. Sorry, I'm just trying to organize these in my mind here. Community Bible study. Houston, Texas. Bible study near me can be the same. Bible study Houston is fine. And churches. Okay, so these are going to be the same group. This is all relating to Bible studies near me or in Houston.
Yeah.
That's where we found that. So we'll make this color. Churches in Katy will be its own. Second Baptist Church in Katy. Okay, so we're going to put those together. So we'll have a Katy, Texas church service, basically. This one, since this is really related to your core audience, your target audience, we're going to make this its own, right? African American churches in Katy. Church of God in Katy. We'll just leave that as its own. Now, here we go with premarital counseling. Those will be the same keyword or grouping there. Premarital counseling, Houston. Okay, so we'll make those their own and we'll branch those out. You know, actually, these will go in the same one because these don't even specify.
Yeah.
Okay, we will group those in. This. Okay. Yep. Okay. So that's more or less broken into groups. All right. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to start putting these into your account. So you can see we already have quite a few groups of ads. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come into your Google Grant account and we're out of this. There we go. Now, the first thing you'll notice is, well, here, the first thing we want to do, and this is important. You want to make sure 100% positive this is a grant account. A lot of times people will think they have a grant account open, but they have a paid ads account. And somehow they got a tiny little account ID mixed up or something. And then they end up paying $5,000 because they didn't check to see if it was an account. So we're going to go into the account payment summary, and you will see that this payment account is not billed. Okay, that means
how did you get there again, please?
We're going to go tools and settings.
Okay.
And summary.
Billing summary. Okay.
Billing summary. And then here, this payment account is not billed. If this was a billed account, you'd have credit card information.
Okay.
So this does not bill you. This is a grant. Now, if you find a credit card, that means it's just a normal paid ads account. And if you turn on some campaign that sells 10,000 clicks in Nigeria for prayer, you're paying for this. So that's gonna hurt.
It says from August to, so that means it has started the calculation from August. Okay.
Yep. Absolutely. And again, if you had a payment account, this would be what you're paying every month. This is where your transactions would go. Okay, so we're good. We can build a advertising account here. Now, this is your all campaign. So if you recall, we said there is your account level, which is everything. And then you have your campaigns, and the campaigns hold the ad. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to create a campaign in here. Also, the thing I want to check as well, I want to see all campaigns, not all but removed. I'm interested just to kind of audit the account and be aware of what's going on. Okay, so it looks like you've started 2 drafts, but they're not completed drafts. So there's no current campaign. So that's fine. And I'm going to create a new one. And this is important because as we go through this.
No, can you help me delete those drafts? I was just practicing.
Sure, discard.
Yeah.
There we go. And discard. There we go. Okay, so fresh account, starting fresh.
Yeah.
All right. So new campaign. Okay.
Yeah.
And there's going to be settings in here that are really important. So for you, Pastor, or anyone else who may be watching in the future, we want to make sure that we get this set up exactly the way we go through it right now. Okay. So the first thing we're doing is we're going to say website traffic. Okay. And then search. It has to be search. These are different types of advertisements that you can use with the Google Grant. Search ads are the text ads that show up at the top.
Yeah.
Display ads are image ads. Shopping ads have products. Video ads are obvious. But anyway, we can't use the Google Grant does not give us access to any of these. And if you do use these, your account can be flagged and
Okay.
so you really don't need to add a business website here. You can if you want, but it's not really necessary.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're making the campaign. And so the question is, what do we title the campaign? Okay, and so this campaign, and this is a big difference between how professional marketers set up accounts and just sort of anybody at a church. Professional marketers make sure that these are really sensible as to how it's organized, because it reduces the time you have to put in later. But
okay.
for example, here's what we're going to title this one. We're going to title this one international. Okay, so we're going to have three. There's a number of ways you can set up campaigns. Usually with churches, you've got a local, with the Google grant, a local, a regional, and an international. So local is obviously going to be churches near me. This is going to be anything premarital counseling that get people to come to your church.
Okay.
Regional would be branding, like statewide, something like that, you know. And then that international is where you're really probably going to spend the majority of the funds. And that is going to be sharing the gospel, teaching people how to pray, bringing in your online community. Okay. So we're going to call this international. Now, here's the next thing, right? The search network. This is a community. This is a group of websites all over the internet that use Google AdSense. And Google AdSense is where Google pays them to show advertisements. Okay. We cannot show Google. Not only is it less effective, in my opinion, but the Google grant will not allow you to show ads through Google AdSense. Again, it's only at the top of the browser, the Google browser. And this is the display network, which is essentially the same thing, but for pictures. We can't do that. Check both of those off. The locations that we're going to target. We're going to target, for now, this is international. So we're going to say all countries and territories.
Okay.
And then we're going to come down here, presence or interest. Okay. One thing that I'll just say, Google makes all of its money selling advertisements to you. And the settings in these accounts, a lot of churches are like, hey, why can't I just use the suggestions in the account? The suggestions in the account, honestly, and this isn't just my opinion, this is the opinion of a lot of advertisers, including a lot of advertisers I know. But the goal of Google is to sell more ads. So here, if you say advertise to people in Houston, Texas, Google is going to spend your money not on people who are actually in Houston, Texas, but in people who are interested. Or in. So if someone in, Timbuktu, Australia is looking up Houston, Texas, your ad can show up, but they're never going to show up at your church because they're in Australia.
Yeah.
So we want actual presence. And of course, that's a sneaky little thing that's kind of slipped in there. Okay? So, and notice,
but does that make any difference for the location we've selected for international is everywhere? True,
but we want to make sure that we're getting accurate data to the people who are actually
all
there,
right. Okay.
Right.
Yep.
So yes, you're right. If you're just targeting everywhere, it's not as big of a deal. This is especially a big deal when you're trying to target a specific location. Yeah. But that said, if you're trying to get people in Nigeria to take action, if people are just interested in Nigeria, they're going to be less likely to take action.
That's true. That is true. Yeah.
And you'll notice, to my point here, this is the recommended option. So that's the option that makes you spend more money. Do that one. Okay. Well, that's not always good.
Okay.
And then here, exclude, and this is flip-flopped for the same reason, right? This is who we don't show ads to. And we can have excluded locations. So say you say, well, we want to show ads to people only in Nigeria. Well, you can also say we don't want to show ads to people in Zambia because for some reason that's a different audience. Okay. Well, they only want you to exclude people who are in that one country, because if you excluded people with interest in that country and who are in that country, that's a larger audience that now you're your ads for. So the settings are always going to favor Google making money. But we are going to go with presence in the country. So language, we're just going to go with English here. the budget 329 is
Yep.
the number we have to go with for the Google grant.
Yes. Yes.
If you don't have 329 on one of your campaigns, you can be removed from.
I learned. Yeah.
Yep. Now, this is where we're going to start. Down the road, you will want to move over to conversions. Okay. Now, have we talked about conversions much?
Not really. You just explained with the funnel. You explained.
Yep. And so we'll go back to that for just a couple seconds, because that terminology is really important if you want to actually have success online. Okay. So here is the marketing funnel.
Yeah.
When we're going out, we're connecting, and as we discussed, right, Jesus knows who his audience is. He goes out to them and he meets a deeply felt need. That's what your ads do. Your ads know what people are searching, right? We want to target African American churches in Houston. That's your audience, right? So we know who they are. We go to them. Well, where are they? They're on Google looking for you. So where do you go? You go meet them on Google.
Yeah.
And then we offer to meet a deeply felt need. Hey, we have this really powerful, African American community, and we're really focused on prayer and worship, right? If that's the culture that they're looking for and it meets their needs, but then we've just done exactly what Jesus is doing in the Gospels, right? He knows who they are. He goes to them. He meets a deeply felt need. Then he says, hey, if you love that, come follow me. And so this is where the convert comes in. We say, follow me. And this works whether it's for your physical church or your website, same thing. We get contact information, right? That's the first step. It's too much to ask them. It's too much commitment to say, give us money, donate. It's too much to say, come to Bible study. Like, I don't even know you, Now you want me to come to your house? Instead, we say, hey, get this free thing, and, and it costs nothing, and it's going to benefit you. Right? Yeah. That is a conversion when we get that information. Once we have the information, now we can follow up with them 1,000 times and build that relationship. And that's where we were talking about the email list provides value, provides value, provides value. And then only after they're just feeling so loved by you, would you ask, hey, maybe you'd consider partnering with us and helping us bring this life change to other people. Why don't you donate? Okay, because that's kind of the marriage proposal. That's the high commitment, is to donate. So the conversion is what we want. And it's just getting contact information. Your email list is the most valuable thing your church owns if we're doing marketing. So that said, we come over here. So we're going to start with clicks. Okay. Google's algorithm needs conversions to find you more conversions. Okay. So we're going to start with clicks. We're not going to set a maximum cost per click, because we'll just pay whatever Google allows us. I believe there's still a $2 limit on clicks, but once you switch it to conversions, there's an unlimited. You pay $50 if nobody's allowed. Okay. And then we'll have conversions set up. Your account will get, like, say 15, 20 conversions, something like that. And then we can switch it over to conversions, and Google will start prioritizing only the audiences who sign up. Okay. So that's that. Now, extensions, call out extensions, call extensions, all of these we'll set up later. So for now, we can save and continue. So those are the settings that we have to have when we set up a campaign. Okay. We're waiting for this to load here. There we go. Okay, so now it's going to have us go through and create an ad group. Okay, so again, we said there is the account level, there is the campaign level, and then there's the ad group level. And the ad group is these that we set up. Okay.
Yes.
So we're going to make a prayer ad group. Okay. Now, I'm thinking prayer. Actually, we're going to say prayer for business. And so here's how we do this. The name of the ad group is the keyword typically, and it's the largest keyword in the ad group. So this has 880 searches, and it's prayer for business. So down the road, if you say, hey, I want to make more content for that business prayer keyword, what was that? You don't have to go and do all this keyword research again. You just know, if I'm going to make a piece of content, it's going to be for prayer for business.
Okay. Is it because prayer for business, that one is localized? That's why you are choosing, because sermon on prayer is more.
Sermon on prayer is a different ad group. These are different colors.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So you're right.
Okay.
This will be the keyword for a different
Okay.
ad group, but
Okay.
sermon on prayer and prayer for business are totally different.
All right. Okay.
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 So I suppose we'll just start with sermon on prayer since that's the first one. Just kind of random.
Okay.
So sermon on prayer. Okay. Where did we go? There we go. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Sermon on prayer. Sermon on prayer. I like to capitalize things. It's just personal preference. Now, here is the next thing. And this is going to get into the nitty gritties a little bit. This is something that pretty much anyone who's not a professional marketer isn't really going to know. And I'll send you this.
I didn't catch what you said last.
What's that?
What you said last. Your voice went down.
Yeah. So I'm gonna show you a kind of like a professional keyword trick tool here that most people aren't going to know unless they're a professional advertiser with a fairly significant amount of training. You really have to back up. This is a website I found. I'm sure there's a lot of them. Actually, my advertising account manager found this and gave it to me, which has been really helpful. But there are different types of keywords, even if it's the same word. So for example, here we've got sermon on prayer. Okay. And I'm going to generate these three. There is an additional one, but Google has since removed this, so they don't use this anymore. So I'm just going to generate these three. This here is called a broad match keyword. Okay. And a broad match keyword, basically Google just says, anything that seems similar to sermon on prayer, we'll throw ads up for that. Okay. But that means as long as the term contains the word sermon on prayer, it'll advertise anything. So it could be, prayer on the Sermon of the Mount. It could be prayer on Buddha's sermon, right? It could literally be anything that contains those words. So that's really broad, and that's definitely not a good go-to if you're using money to advertise. Okay. Now, this one down here is called a phrase match, and this has the quotes around it. And the phrase match means anything that has these words in this order. So this could include sermon on prayer about Buddha, sermon on prayer about Jesus's sermon on prayer, anything, like anybody. You could put, I don't know, Joel Osteen, anything. So it just has to include these three words in this order. That's phrase match, and Google will show ads to those. And then this is exact match with the brackets. And this means it will only show an ad to someone searching exactly the term sermon on prayer. So if we have a limited budget, if you ever put together a paid advertising account for your church to target very specific people, you'll probably only want to use these two. Because you're going to spend way more money and you don't know what you're going to get with that. Okay.
Yeah.
But you've got $10,000 to experiment with. So why not? Okay. We want to spend as much as possible and then refine as we figure out what works and doesn't work. Okay. So we're going to take these three and we're going to go over here, and here are the keywords that we're going to put in. Okay. And sermon on prayer. And we've got our three keywords of sermon on prayer. One more reason why I include all three of these. Some other advertisers would say, well, you really don't need all three. It's kind of redundant. What will also happen month over month, especially in the first month, Google is going to give a quality score on your keywords. And this is another one of these grant requirements. And it'll say, hey, this keyword only has a quality score of 2. Well, let's say this one gets a quality score of 2. You have to have your quality score above 2, or Google will just turn off your ad grant account. So if this one gets a quality score of 2 and you don't have any other keywords in here, this advertising campaign's gone. You're not doing it. So maybe the more specific one gets a quality score of 8 or 9, and Google just shows this all day long, but it turns this one off, and you've got to get rid of that. So it gives you more ways to spend that money. Google decides it doesn't like what you're saying. So there we go. Now I'm going to skip this. We're going to come to this later because this is writing an ad. But we're going to come back because I want to do everything in batches so you kind of get the feel. So save and continue. And we're going to just skip this. okay, we're going to publish anyway, and I'm just going to say publish. It's basically just saying, oh, you're publishing this group, but it has no ad in it. So we don't have any ads in it right now. That's fine. So what we're going to do here is we're going to add groups. So the international campaign, we only have the one ad group, but we're going to have more than one ad group.
Okay.
We're going to add another one. And so here we go. Now we can kind of speed things up here because we kind of know what we're doing. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to take all three of these, and I will also send this link over to you. This is digitaldarts.com.au. So anyway, you can look up, it's called a match type tool, Google Ads match type tool, and I can send you the specific link. This one has been helpful.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, I just wanted to also kindly request.
Yes.
Can I also have the video recording so that I can go over? It will help me if it is possible.
Yeah. Absolutely. We'll figure out how to get these over to you.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
We'll probably be cleaning these up and then putting them, making sure any sensitive information is covered, and they'll be on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
So I can give you that. So anyway, okay, so here is prayer. So I just went into that match type tool and I just exported it in all three of those formats we looked at. And this is prayer for business.
Prayer for business, yeah.
Okay. And so here we go, and I'm going to save and continue. And here we go to create another ad. We're doing that like stay and continue. Okay, so now we have the two. Okay. And here we go. So we're going to keep doing this, and we've got them all in here. And you're going to have this down pat. So Christian entrepreneurs. My keyword tool. So here we go. I'm here. The Christian entrepreneurs. Again, I've got the specific keyword types I want, and then I'm going to come back over here, put those in, and title this Christian
entrepreneur.
Yep, and I checked this out there, so it could be good. Save and continue again. So the keyword that we're titling this, say continue. Keyword that we're titling this is the keyword of the highest search volume keyword in this.
Okay.
So again, we always know exactly what the keyword is, and a lot of people will just name these like random stuff, so you don't actually know the keywords in there.
The keywords there, yeah.
So this keeps things very organized. Okay?
Very organized, yeah.
Okay, so here's the next one. Here. Okay, so there we go. Now we know that this is a really good international ad campaign because we know that this gentleman is searched in Africa far more than he is in the States. So that's why he's going to go in the international campaign.
Yeah, yeah.
This is Benson Ideate.
Also, yeah.
BENSON. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we've got this. Save and continue. And there we go. So we've got another one in there. And here we go. Sermons on hope. So here, these are broken up a little bit. So I want to make sure I get all the correct boxes here.
Yeah.
Sermons on hope. Okay, so that should be all of them. I'll double check. I'm pretty sure that's all. Yeah. Okay, so I've got those. I'm going to come back over here. You're seeing the process. This is as exciting as it gets. And
yes.
Okay, so we're going to copy those, make a new one. Here, paste in all of our different match types.
Salmon on hope.
Remember, it's sermon, not sermon. So yeah.
Yes, not salmons on hope. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And that also, that also gives you there's very few things that marketers know that, like, say, pastors don't. And one of those things is it matters what the audience wants. It doesn't
Yes,
matter what
yes.
I want, you know. And I think it's really hilarious because a lot of, what do you do when you start a church? You open a church, you have Sunday services, maybe one, maybe two, you have a youth group, and you have a Bible study, something like that. And that's what people do. They're like, all the churches are canned, but that is we assume that people want those. Maybe people don't want those things and they actually need something different, but we
Yeah.
never actually consider what people want. So
What people want, yeah.
we thought people wanted sermons on hope, but they only want one sermon on hope, right?
Yeah.
And there's been a million ways that this has been the case. You know, we thought people wanted this over here, and it turns out they want this over here. And so that is a huge marketing kind of, I don't know, secret, I guess. That
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, most church leaders aren't really aware of. So
yeah.
God will fight for you. Sermon on faith. Okay, so we're going to copy those. Bring them over here. Faith. Oh, I missed it. Yeah, we included that. Faith. Go. Okay. Get those. Come over here. Faith. Here. And here we go. Sermon on faith.
Sermons.
Exactly. Yeah, there we go. Good. And again, so that way we know exactly what keyword we're using. So when you create more content, you can just make it for that section.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so moving on. We've got sermons on hope, man of God. So we have content on basically how to become a man of God. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So that's going to be, now this is, again, we're doing training, so I'm just giving you the technical stuff. If you only have one ad in an ad group, that is called a single keyword ad group. Because you only have one keyword in it, right? And Google really likes single keyword ad groups because you have one keyword, man of God, like become a man of God, something like that. And then the ad says become a man of God. And then they go to a page on your website that says sermon series on become a man of God.
Okay.
Google loves that because that's the highest, you can possibly tailor content to a specific search.
Okay.
So that's always a good way to go. Okay, so man of God, and there are the keywords. Save that, and these all count as the same keyword because they are. So there we go. And let's see what else. Hope. The sermons on hope. We already put in man of God.
We've done that. Yeah.
Church of God mission. That's what we're going here, and we're going to copy this. What was that?
Okay.
So we want to do Church of God because that's the larger one. So that's going to be the name. God mission, generate, go. Okay. And then we're coming over here. Oh, you know what? I apologize. This is a local campus.
Because I was trying to.
You're right. Oh yeah.
I was waiting.
Yeah, that's all right. You can shout at me here. Okay. So this is a new campaign. So we've got international and we're going to do local. Okay. So we're going to do a new campaign. And again, website traffic search. We don't need to do that. And here we go. This is our local ads. So local, we're going to remove search network, remove display network. So local is going to be United States.
United States, yeah.
Right. And we'll specify this further, but we want people who are actually in the United States, right? Yeah. And exclude people who have a presence outside of the United States, right?
Okay.
That's good. Daily budget, $3.29. Clicks, fine. And saving. So now we have our campaign. And we're going to put our keywords in there. Start with Church of God. Now, actually, as I'm thinking of this, here's something else that I want to look into real quick. Okay. Church of God TX.
Texas. Okay.
Sometimes these local searches, which is assembly, Church of God Youth Camp, Living, Church of God Arlington, Church of God Katy, Texas. Okay, well, we'll put that in there. Church of God Katy, Texas. We may, you know what? I think we already have that under Katy, Texas, actually.
I think so.
Yeah, we already got that. Church of. Okay, so I just wanted to double check and make sure.
Okay. Okay.
We're good. So we can save that. Okay. Save, continue. So we've got that. Publish the campaign. Publish. No, there. Okay, so there's Church of God. So now we have a local, and we've already included our Hope campaign there. So now we're going to go to Church of God near me.
Okay.
Now, Church of God Mission, Church of God. Okay, so this actually is going to go with this ad. Church of God near me, Church of God Mission, same thing. So we're actually going to flip this guy right there. Does that make sense?
Okay. Okay.
So again, this is that happens sometimes. So we're going to go up here, and I'm going to delete this Church of God near me, and go. And so what I'm going to do then is I'm going to go back into this ad group. Now we haven't done this yet. So Church of God, I'm going to select the ad group. So campaign, these are the campaigns. Under the campaign is the ad group. And now I'm going to go to keyword. So this is where the keywords are hidden. And we're going to go search keywords. These are the keywords we actually have in the okay, so I'm going to go in here. I've just added those new terms. And we're going to save this. Okay. Now, brief lesson. If there's a keyword you don't want to show up, then that is a negative keyword. And that is never show an ad to this. So for example, I used to work at this, full-scale digital marketing agency and a lot of wedding venues. And these wedding venues had a minimum of like $30,000 to book a gift. And so in the negative keywords, what we would include is cheap wedding venue, free wedding venue.
Okay.
Why would we waste our advertising money? Okay. So we're going to rule out stuff here. And now as the advertising campaign goes on and on and on, you'll start to see things and you're like, hey, I don't even want to advertise to that. And you can say add it as a negative keyword. And yep. And that's called optimization, right? We want to make the account more effective over time. We'll talk more about that later. Search terms. These are the terms that people, there's nothing in here now because no one's found your ads. But these are the terms people are searching to find your ads. Okay. And so this is where you can go in here and you can say, oh, this is really good. I didn't realize this was a keyword. Add that into the keywords. Or you can say, this is Sugarland, Zambia, like who knows? Well, remove that keyword, add that as a negative keyword. So this Okay. So churches near me, Christian churches, churches open near me, church services near me. Okay. So we're going to copy those back over here. How are you doing with this? You're feeling fairly comfortable?
Oh, great. I'm just, I'm fully invested in this.
Good. Christian, and this, yeah, one of the things that, that there's obviously pros and cons and trade-offs to digital ministry.
I think it's the you missed H. Churches near me, you missed the first one. The first one. First one.
C8. Yes, great catch. C-H-U-R-C-H. Okay, perfect. Let's regenerate that. Yeah, there's pros and cons, obviously, to digital ministry. The major con is, there is a level of, I want to add. Okay, so I need to go to ad groups and then click ad groups here. I was thinking. Yeah, the thing that you obviously lose is a level of personability. And that's why it's actually a little bit more difficult online to get people to take action. But you also have the benefit of being able to scale to hundreds and thousands and tens of thousands and millions of people if you can, right?
Yeah.
And that's pretty powerful. So I really like it.
It is.
Okay, so churches near me, we've got that. Save, continue, and continuing on. Okay, so let's see. Non-denominational. Okay, we're just gonna take this one. And go. So this is going to be another single keyword ad group because this just says non-denominational. Let's see, go, add an ad group. Now, one thing while we're doing this that I'll point out.
Yep. Churches near me.
Go non. Is a lot of ministry leaders too have decision-making strategies that do not work well with online advertising. Okay, so for example, when we're putting in non-denominational churches, or Baptist church, for example, maybe
Okay.
maybe you're not exactly a Baptist church, but it's close. I'm not really sure. A lot of church leaders will go, well, hold on a second. We're not really a non-denominational church. We couldn't really say that. And that may be technically accurate, but the question is what gets the better results, right? I don't know what the Baptists, right? Like you said, well, the Second Baptist people are very similar to the people in our church. So maybe you're not technically Second Baptist, but maybe they're exactly your audience, and they just didn't know they were looking for you because Second Baptist just has a bigger name.
Yeah.
And so what ultimately determines which advertising group, which keyword is more effective, is the results. How many people sign up on the page? Because if you advertise to, this would, I don't think this would be the case, but let's just say you advertise to Church of Christ, Church of Christ near me. I don't think that has anything to do with you. But if all of a sudden, you get, 100 new people showing up a month saying, save my seat, I want to be there. And they're like, yeah, we looked up Church of Christ online and you were the one, and we looked at your page and it's exactly what we were looking for. Well, then advertise to Church of Christ. It's effective, right? And they come to your church and they love your theology and they love your teaching and everything you offer. Surprise, people that's your audience. So that's how we optimize. So sometimes we put in things we're not sure about, some things might not technically be accurate, and then we decide whether or not to keep it based on how many conversions or sale signups that particular group of ads get. That's called optimization, and that's how we create the most results, as opposed to just including or excluding things based on our opinion. Okay.
All right. Yep.
So just a little fun snippet there.
Yeah.
Okay. So here we go. Here. Okay. Add an ad here.
Okay. I think there's another one. Is it going to stand alone? The Black churches in Houston.
Here, also, what am I doing? Let me add you to this. We're going to say Mission International, correct?
Yep.
Okay, keyword research, save. And what was your
email?
Oh, here.
Veritas.
I already have it. Yeah. I apologize.
Veritas. Okay. VERI. TASAS.
Okay.
AYODELE @gmail.com.
Is that spelled right?
Yeah. Sorry?
Got it. Okay. I'm going to make you an editor so you can actually be in here. I apologize. I should have given you access to that already.
Okay. No, that's okay. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Okay. So we've got, let's see if that has any other keywords here that are similar. Okay, so we are going to, so we have Black churches near me and we have Black churches in Houston. So we're going to put in Houston actually in that same campaign.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that's
That's
more
true.
similar than Second Baptist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. So Black churches, Houston. Okay, we're going to generate that. Now, what you may find when these get running is that the search volume may actually start coming in where people are saying, you know, Black church is Katy, Black church is Sugar Land. And if you see that coming in, add as keyword, right? That's how you optimize,
Oh,
right?
okay.
We're
Okay.
doing this based on the best data we have, but it may come in differently. Who knows?
Okay.
So we're going to say me. Okay. So there we go. Moving on. Okay, so we forgot here. Okay, we did church services. Okay, so here we go. Evangelical.
Okay, what about the non-denominational churches under
Those, yes, those will be the same.
to go together? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. Those should go together. It looks like we missed over those there earlier. We'll just make those yellow. Oh, something got lost. There we go. Okay. So evangelical church here.
Okay.
Church here. These. And then. Okay. Here. That. And like things to be neat and tidy. There we go. Save. All right. Evangelical. All right. Let's here we go. Okay, so we're moving on. So now we're in non-denominational. Here.
I guess there is another one up.
Do we have another one? Oh,
yes, another keyword up. Non-denomination churches near me.
Churches near me. Do we already have an ad group? We do.
We do. I was saying, could it be underneath that
Yep.
one that we already have?
Yes, you're exactly right. Let's do that. That's even better. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to put in those two keywords so we get our correct match types here. And then we're going to highlight these and we're going to put them right in there. Exactly. Okay. Also, I'll show you something quickly. Watch this.
Okay.
See right here. This right here is a little suggestion box. A lot of people use the suggestion box.
Okay.
And when I started, years ago doing Google Ads, I used the suggestion box, and it's like, oh, look at all these searches. Like, oh, look, non-denominational church near me, denominational church, and they just go in here and they just click all of these things, right? And that's great. Problem is, you don't know what the cost per click is. You don't know the search volume, right? And Google is selecting these, and we don't know how Google is selecting these. Maybe these have the highest cost per click and nobody's searching for them, and Google just wants to make an extra buck. I mean, that's possible. Google really, really kind of caters everything in this program to make more money. So who knows?
For their own profit. Okay.
Yeah, for their profit. Maybe it is done based on search volume. And non-denominational churches near me is the highest one. I don't know. But we don't really, we can't really know until we do our own keyword research. Okay. And now we did choose non-denominational churches near me, but so either way, this box is not the most accurate measure. Okay.
All right.
So, okay, great catch there, non-denominational churches, and we're going to come down here. So now we're going to go to live stream. Okay, and this is going to, which campaign do you feel like this should go
in? Probably international.
Yes, and then of course you can choose which countries you show your international campaigns to. If you want to target Africa or particular countries in Africa or the whole world, you can do whatever.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to international campaign, right? So this is the campaign, and now we're going to create an ad group. So this is the campaign, ad groups, plus, see, go, live, and we're going to title this live church, because that has the largest search volume. There we
Okay.
go. Save. Now, when we send people to live church, we want them to show up on the page of your website where you have your live church, right? So
Yeah.
again, keeping that as seamless and keeping the confusion to a bare.
Okay.
Yep. So here's online church service. Take these over here, control the online church service. Here we go. Okay. All of those. Add groups, add service.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
We're almost there. Getting there.
Yeah.
All right. I can tell you this is much more entertaining than just kind of sitting in an office doing it by yourself. So
That's true.
you've got, when you've got 5 of these accounts lined up back to back, it turns into a little bit of a grind,
Wow. That's true.
Here we go. So birthday prayer, happy birthday. Excellent.
Yeah.
And so something else that I want to point out. So we picked out this birthday prayer. We picked out prayer for your father, prayer for your mother. Again, will those work? I mean, that honestly is really different than anything I've ever heard of before. Like, who knew that was even a thing?
Yes, that's why I jumped on it. I've started preparing content already.
That's great. And so here's how successful marketers will operate. Okay. And it's very biblical because what do we do? What does Jesus do? He prunes the vine when something doesn't work. Okay. Successful businesses, successful marketers, they take rapid shots at content to see if it works. And anything that doesn't work, they just turn it off and they move on. So you try 10 pieces of content, and then the one that gets all the signups, or the 2 that gets all the signups, you leave those running. You just kill everything else and then go do it again.
That is it.
That's how you rapidly build a powerful online presence.
Yeah.
Okay. Where were we at? Birthday prayer. Okay. Coming back over here. This is going to be international because presumably this would be primarily overseas. So birthday. Okay. And this makes sense to you as if you're going to create that content for those other prayers. Do you have those written down? Are you already creating content for those?
I beg your pardon?
Like prayer for father, prayer for mother, prayer for whatever those were. Are you creating content?
Yes, I wrote some, but I wasn't fast enough. That was why I was saying
That's okay.
I would appreciate if I can get access to that list of
keywords. So
keywords.
here's what we'll do real quick while we're doing this. We're going to go back down to Nigeria.
Okay. Like prayer for my husband. Prayer.
And we found this. If we want lots of, if we're looking for something specific, church near me, then we look up church near me. If you want to get lots of ideas, you just put in the short tail keyword prayer.
Okay.
And it's going to tell us what people are searching for, right? So here we go with prayer. And we'll go ahead and we'll drop some of these in there so you have it in the plan so that you know how to do it, okay? So a morning prayer. There we go. That's great. So you can make a morning prayer and you pray it.
Yeah.
Right. So
I thought but I was thinking I thought we put it there. Oh, sorry. I thought it was there yesterday.
I think we didn't add. I did not add anything other than.
Okay,
so
because
that's what
I wrote that one down.
No problem. I'm going to add them in here so you have. Okay. Morning prayer 14,800. That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
14,800. Okay. That's one. Give me a second here. I'm just going to insert insert. Give a little bit of space here.
Yes, because for the international, it's so clear to me now that I would develop a lot of content on prayers.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to do that. Yeah, it's for the African target. It's very rich.
Powerful. Yeah.
Very powerful. Rich. Yeah.
Now, here's what you can also do. Birthday prayer, happy birthday prayer. one of the questions I would have is, are they looking for a birthday prayer for themselves, or are they looking for it to pray over someone else? And my guess is they're actually looking to pray over someone else. Now,
Yeah.
I would look that up, but I don't have a browser that can do looking it up in Nigeria. I don't
Okay.
have a program for that at this time anyway.
Okay.
But my guess is you could say, hey, here's how to, let me pray a happy birthday prayer for you, happy birthday prayer for a friend, right? So
Yes.
that's
Yes.
something that,
Yes. I would even do two different, I mean, for
yep,
each one, two different content. The one that is targeted towards someone else, and then the one that is targeted towards the person that's
exactly,
actually searching.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So prayer, morning prayer. Okay. New month prayer. Okay.
Yes.
So very interesting. There's a, seems to be a really interesting.
I wrote all of them down. I wrote,
Good.
yeah, new month prayer.
See, 14,100.
And happy new month prayer too.
Happy new month prayer.
Yes, it's there. New month
Okay.
prayer.
I will add that in here as well. Happy, yep, month prayer, 12,100.
But it is prayers.
Happy new month prayers.
Yes.
Nope, it's one new month prayer. Oh, happy new month prayers. You're right. I apologize.
Yes.
Okay, let's see what else here. Birthday prayers for myself. There you go. So that was kind of what we were thinking about. That's 9,900.
Yeah.
Okay, prayers for myself. Okay, birthday prayer message, prayers, prayer time in Abuja. Do you want me to add that?
Sorry?
Prayer time in Abuja.
Pray. Yes, please. Yes, yes.
And if you have a page on that, Pastor, again, remember that has a really, really low keyword difficulty compared
Okay.
to, you know, prayer is 71 or happy birthday prayer is 57. So just having a page that says prayer time in Abuja and then whatever they're expecting on that, you could maybe rank that, and that's got 8,000 searches a month.
Okay.
Okay. Fairly high.
Okay.
Okay, so okay, good morning prayer for her. So presumably maybe we're praying over someone else in the morning. For
Okay.
her, 6,000, 600. Okay, so okay, I'm gonna add these.
Okay.
You like that?
I know I saw some, the prayer time in Abuja is actually for Islam. Is the Muslim.
Ah, okay. So maybe do you want to remove that then, I presume?
Okay, yeah, let's remove that.
No problem. Well, hey, that's why we do it. Okay, so you know, no problem. So interesting, there may be a large Islamic prayer kind of influence in the culture, you know? And so
Oh,
that's
yes.
interesting. It's very interesting. And so you're going to be saying Christian prayer. So you'll want to kind of make sure that your ads say, you know, Christian birthday prayer, right? Something like that in the ad
Okay,
itself.
and then the spelling for birthday, I think the T and H is placed.
Yep, you're right. BIRTHD. Yep. Oh, I did it again. Yes, there we go.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, so good morning prayer for her. Her boyfriend. That's 600.
Yeah.
And this prayer for husband.
Yeah.
That's 6,600.
Then what is prayer? I think.
Yep. Well, here's the Lord's Prayer, and that's really great because that's obviously Christian.
Yes, I wrote down too.
Yeah. And then you said, what is prayer? Absolutely. $100. Okay. And then, you know, something that you can do too, because we're always saying, what is the journey of the person looking this up? Like, how do we get them to engage in our church? How do we get them more into the message of the gospel? Well, what is prayer? How to pray a birthday prayer, how to pray a new month prayer, all these things. Why do we pray? Oh, okay. Well, you can have a little video that says, why do we pray? And it's just in there with the others. Maybe people aren't looking for that particular prayer as much, for that particular search term as much. Some people will. But you can say, why do we pray? They watch that and it says, here's what, you know, the Bible says about prayer. Here's why we pray. And so then you can start sharing the gospel message and working in, you know, some really important Christian doctrine into what you're saying. Does that make sense? So
yeah, it does make sense. Yeah.
And so information like that can lead to, hey, if you want to learn, you know, if you want the full 2-week prayer series, then, you know, you can download it at the bottom of the page under all of these videos or whatever. Okay. 5,400 new week, prayer for healing, prayer for success. So we'll go with prayer for healing there. That's a good one. 5,400. Okay. So I think this gives you probably enough to start working on.
Okay, can we please add prayer for success too?
Sure, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of prayer going on. Love it. Okay, 5,400. Okay, so we'll just leave that there. Of course, you come in here anytime and do as much of this. These look like they go forever, so that's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay, so did we add birthday prayer? Birthday prayer. Okay,
Yeah,
so
it's there. Yeah.
add this, and we're gonna go here. Add birthday prayer. Okay. Okay. So what we want, Pastor, is you're going to want one page on your website for each one of these because they're all different.
Okay.
So morning prayer. The website link is joyandharvest.com/morning prayer.
Morning prayers, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And that's the keyword right there in the link. Okay. So joyandharvest.com/prayer, birthday prayer.
Birthday prayer for a friend. Okay.
Exactly.
So the keyword should be the name of the page.
That the keyword should be in the name of the page, preferably, you know, if it's clear enough, the name of the page. Right.
Okay. Okay.
So looking back here, right, giving you the example. There we go. Blog, and here we go. Okay, so let's just see here. Okay, so for example, here, the keyword we're targeting here, Google Ad Grant.
Google Ad Grant, yeah.
And so it's the first words in the title. And if you go to the page will say clickmail.co/Google Ad Grant. Right? See, the keywords right there.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
That's how yours should be structured as well. To get
okay. All right.
Same thing here. Church marketing online. If you go to that page, the URL is church marketing.
Okay.
Keyword. Okay. So, okay. So let's continue here. This is okay. We're doing morning prayer. It's like. Okay, prayer. Oh, no, that was prayer. Prayer. Okay. Okay. Now, Pastor, I don't know if you would like to join me, but if you would like to put these in, then let's do that. And what we'll do is we'll do one together. And as long as you're comfortable with it, then we'll just separate up these ad groups and you can do half so you get used to it and I'll help you do half, the other half. It'll just think along.
Okay. So I should open on my end?
Yep. And first though, if you can, share your screen.
Okay. Share screen. Let me see. Okay.
It'll tell you to choose the screen if it allows you to do it.
The screen, okay.
Mhm.
So I've shared the screen.
Wonderful. Yep, I can see it.
Okay, so I should go to, let me bring this thing down first. Okay, to the Google Grants. Okay. Okay, I should go to.
Actually, what you want to do is you want to open the keyword. I sent you a link to your email, and that's going to have the keyword plan, the Google sheet that we're working on.
Okay, let me see. Okay.
There you go. And yep, you should just be able to click on that document and you should be able to edit it.
Okay.
There we go.
So
now, the second thing you want to do is go back to the Zoom call.
The Zoom call, okay.
At the bottom of your screen.
Yep. So
at the bottom of your screen, there's a little Zoom icon. You need to pull up the Zoom program. There you go. Yep, yeah. Pull on that. There you go. Let's see what's up here. And I sent you.
I already. It's here. What should I do there?
Okay, so in the Zoom window, I can't see it, but there is a little thing that says chat at the bottom of the screen.
Okay. You have sent, okay.
You see the link in the chat?
Yes, let me click it now. Okay.
Yeah, so click that. Okay, and you probably want to take this over to, this is the keyword tool I've been using to break it into those match types.
I'm copying the,
there you go.
Let me put it in, okay.
Yep.
Coming. Window.
Yep.
Okay, paste. Oh, sorry, didn't copy.
Okay. No problem. You can also take it out of your browser window as well.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Let me do that.
Still got, it didn't copy.
Okay, yeah, didn't copy.
There you go.
Copy.
There we go. Okay, good. So now you have that link. And I'm sure there are other tools just like that. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And so you've got that copied. And so maybe just exit it in this window and then go into the other window where all the other tabs are you're using. That might make it faster for you.
You mean this? Okay.
So,
all right. All right. Yeah. Let me just copy it and then go to.
Yep. There we go. And then open that in a new tab there. There you go. Go.
Okay.
So let's do one together here. So you've got your Google Sheet. Yep. Right. And what was the last one that we just did?
We did was it morning prayers or something?
Yes. Why don't we do this? You want to finish the prayer one. So you do birthday prayer for a friend and then continue with the birthday prayers. We'll do one of these together. Yeah, you'll probably have to break that there. So go ahead. Yep, do that. There you go. So copy that.
Okay.
And then you're going to go over to that keyword tool. At all that.
Sorry, it's popping up a lot of.
Just hit the X on the top right hand side there.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go. Okay, and now, yep, paste that in there. Now those check boxes, you're going to check all of them, but the second one down. Yep, top, there you go. And generate. Good. We're going to copy the word and go over to your Google Ads account. There we go. And so you're going to go back. Yep. Okay. And morning prayer for a friend is in the international campaign. So we're going to go to international.
Okay. International.
And you're going to go to add group. On the gray bar on the right. Yep, right there. Add group.
Add group, okay.
If you're adding a new ad group. And here, you're going to click the blue button there and add an ad group. And then the fastest way I've found to do this, so you're not typing and retyping everything, when this shows up, go into the keyword box at the bottom.
Okay.
Yep. And then paste all of the keywords you have copied. And then copy the top one. And then use that as the ad group. There you go. And also, just are you using a Windows computer?
Yes, please.
Okay. Do me a favor here.
Okay.
Okay, so go and down to, this is just for you, just something that will help your process become faster. Okay. Go down to the keywords again, highlight the top keyword there.
The top one?
Yeah, just do the top one.
Okay.
And now I want you to push the buttons Control and C. Control C, and that's copy.
Yes.
And then Control V is paste. So if you go click V as in Victor, click down. Okay, and so that can really speed it up a lot, so you don't have to go through that full copy.
Yes, yes, thank you. Thank you.
Problem. Yep, and totally up to you. Just thought I would put that your way. So then you're going to click Save and Continue.
Continue. Okay.
And we're not really creating any, we're not creating ads right now, so just go to the bottom and click Save and Continue.
Okay.
Okay. How do you feel about that? Pretty doable?
Oh, yes, it's doable. It's very doable. Yeah. Yeah.
Great. So what I'm going to do is I am also going to be doing this as well.
Okay. So for all this now, I should, they are all different ad group, each one of them, like good morning prayer for her.
Yes. Yeah, they're basically different ad groups because they're searching different types of prayers.
Okay. So all the prayer ones would have, each one of them will have their own ad groups separately.
Yes, correct.
Okay. So do you want me to do all the prayers like I just went?
Yeah, you do the prayers and I'll start doing anything under the prayers. When you finish, let me know, and then we'll throw another one at you, okay?
Okay, thank you very much. Let me go ahead now.
Got it.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. Yeah, we'll knock this out here.
Yeah.
Let me know if you have any questions. I'm not looking at your screen.
Okay, no problem. Like I have a question. I just did new month prayer and happy new month prayers separately. Is
Yeah,
that
those
okay?
can be the same. Well, those should be the same.
Okay, okay. So
Yep.
let me just, I should
Yep.
delete one.
And so we'll do that together.
Okay.
So you can go ahead and go back into the Google Ads.
Okay.
Okay. And so where's your, let's just say we'll do the happy new month. We'll delete that one.
Oh, let me even see. Where's
It's
new
up,
month prayer? Okay.
go up a little higher to your happy new month prayer.
Okay.
Okay. So I want you to click on that.
Okay.
And then you're going to go to the keywords. So go to, actually, I apologize. Don't do that. You can't copy the keywords in the right way. So here's what we're going to do instead. We're going to go to international up at the very top. So you're going to click on the campaign.
Okay.
Then you're going to click on the ad groups tab to the right. Okay, so this is going to show us all the ad groups and let us edit them. Then we're going to find happy new month prayer. So you'll probably have to go to the bottom right and say show more rows.
Just a minute.
Down just a little bit from where your mouse is. That'll work if we do that. Okay, and there's happy new month prayer at the bottom, and you're going to click down on the green, see that little arrow next to the green dot? Yep, click that and then remove. Okay, there we go. Now, it doesn't actually disappear, it will just say removed. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So then all you have to do is go copy your keyword. Do you have the happy new month keyword copied?
Let me quickly.
Great.
Um,
Yeah, so happy new month prayers is the one that's highlighted right now. So just copy that again.
yeah.
Yep. And then go back over to your keyword tool there. Yep, that one. Oh, there you go. And just copy that out the bottom better. Okay. And then go to your new month prayer ad group on the left side. Go. And then add search keyword. So you're in the right column and then push the blue button. Blue plus icon there. Yep. And then paste those in there and save it. Okay. Excellent. There you go.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Of course. Yeah. Just let me know if you need anything else.
Okay. You will. Prayer.
Still doing all right over there?
Yes, you're all right. Add group. I just, okay. Is there anywhere you can edit? I forgot to capitalize each word for.
Yeah, give me 1 second. Let me pull that screen back up. Okay, so we forgot to capitalize which word?
This one that I'm doing currently, the good morning
No
prayer
problem.
for.
Okay, so go ahead and save and continue at the bottom.
Okay.
Okay. Then you're going to stay on the international on that top left side. So we've got the campaign selected, and then you're going to go back to add groups. So on the right side there. So select, yep, click on international and then click on add groups. So you're going to be able to edit all the add groups in international.
Okay.
And then go to and then on the bottom,
Okay.
there you go. And then pencil.
Okay.
There you go.
All righty.
You got it.
Yep. Thank you. Prayer. Okay, save. Okay. Go back to add groups.
Okay, I have finished the end of those. Where are you at?
On prayer for success.
Wonderful. Okay.
Yeah.
I will take, you can do sermon on prayer, and I will take how to pray and how to
Okay.
start prayer.
Okay.
Okay. I have those complete. Just let me know. Can you scroll up a little bit? Add group name, keywords. Just maybe click the X on.
It's giving me an error on the sermon on prayer.
Interesting. Can you go back into that?
Well, it says policy details.
Policy. It doesn't. Yeah, so it doesn't even have errors for you. Other errors. Can you click X on that? Let's see if that works. No. Sermon on prayer. Sermon on keywords are. Oh, hold on. Maybe we already have that in there. That's probably why.
Okay.
Probably a duplicate.
Okay.
Hey, look. Yeah, we already have an ad group in international titled Sermon on Prayer. So I think I already
did that. Okay.
Let me check the keywords. I only have sermon on prayer. Is that the only keyword you have in that group?
Yes, please.
Okay,
yes.
then just cancel it. That one's done.
Okay. All right.
All right. So we're gonna do one more thing, just for fun, and I'm gonna guide you so you can. Okay. So this call is essentially wrapped up. We've gone, a little over our plan time, which is fine. However, let's do.
Well over. Thank you very much.
That's okay. Hey, this is what it takes, and we're gonna put the time in now or later anyway. So
yeah.
Okay, so here's what I want you to do. So in the campaign international, so just for, I guess good form, click on international. So you have the campaign selected. You click on it one more time to reopen it there. Just making sure you have it. Then I want you to go down to locations.
Location?
On the gray bar next to the dark gray bar. So see where add groups is, where you've been clicking on add groups?
Add groups, okay.
So go down further and you'll see locations. Up a little further, you passed it.
Okay.
Okay, so click on locations. And now there you go. Now I want you to decide where you want these to show. Now I'll tell you the pros and cons. You can target the whole world by doing nothing. So right now you will show all of this content to anyone searching anywhere in the world. Okay. If you want to target specific countries or specific regions, then you can choose which those are. And so, for example, if you just really wanted to target your Hearts for Africa, you wanted to target Africa, then you can do that, and your ads will show in Africa and say the United States, something like that. So what do you think is your preference?
I would love to first do Nigeria, United States, and United Kingdom.
Okay. And so go ahead and click the pencil icon, the blue pencil icon.
Okay.
And then now there's two ways you can target. You may have run across this in the course that you were going through, but location is a particular region. So you're selecting countries. A radius is what we will use later, which is within 100 miles of this address, which would be your church or something.
Okay.
So go ahead and enter United States into there. There you go, United States, and there you go. And then you're going to put your other countries in. I think great. And now, what is the reasoning behind United Kingdom, if I can ask?
Because there's a large population of African Americans.
Oh wow, I did not know that. Okay.
Oh yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Any other specific? I mean, do you
For
have
now.
any? For now, okay. So then
Yeah,
here's your strategy. Okay. If you turn these on and find that you're not spending the full Google grant, then you want to expand. You want to expand your content, right? You then also want to expand the countries, presumably.
Okay. Is it? Can I add more countries now?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. You should add. Usually what I would do is I would add all the countries I want to target and then reduce later if I have too much spending, right? So
okay, then let me just continue. Let me add them.
Yeah, and if I were in your position, I might add every country in Africa or every country in the regions of Africa that your ministry.
Okay, West Africa, yes. Let me just do that.
Exactly.
And then I'll do South Africa. Okay. I didn't know that. I was just being conservative.
No, yeah. Well, with the Google grant, you don't have to be very conservative. We can rein it in as we figure out which countries are really, loving your material.
Liberia.
And one of the things that I love, I actually mentioned it in the book that you're reading, but Democratic Republic of the Congo, that is a hard to reach place. It's all unexplored jungle, but yet people have cell phones there. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So you can actually, a lot of our churches here with Google grants are getting views on, who is God, who is Jesus.
And it doesn't matter if it is a French, a Francophone country.
Your ads are only going to show in English. So if people are searching in English, they'll be able to see these ads.
Okay. Because some West African countries,
I saw that one country.
They are also Francophone.
Okay.
Senegal, Gambia, like Senegal, Gambia, Senegal, the Gambia. Let me see.
Yeah. Keep going if you want. kind of like Christmas, isn't it?
Yes, it's exactly. Okay. Equatorial Guinea. Equatorial Guinea. Yeah. Okay, Gabon. Country. Let me put Republic of Congo.
There
you go. Where is this?
There are actually different countries. There's Republic of the Congo and Democratic Republic.
Yes. And then there's this. Was it Ethiopia? South Africa, Namibia, Botswana, even Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe, Lesotho country. Okay. Okay. I think, let me see. Okay. I mean, just for the kicks, I like to put Brazil also.
Yeah, do it.
Brazil.
Again, we can refine and optimize later for what actually works. For now, we're making educated guesses, right?
Yeah, Brazil.
I also know that there are people of African American heritage in go up on the map a little bit. There we go. Puerto Rico, Haiti, those types of areas.
Oh,
Under
okay,
Florida.
Puerto Rico, under Florida, under where?
Yeah, on the islands right there, right?
Yes, that's true.
So,
let me also put Canada.
Yep.
Canada.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a great start. And of course, we can always add or remove later.
Yes. Let me put Australia too. Australia. Okay, Malaysia. I've been to Malaysia.
Okay.
Yeah, so okay, put that one too. I think for now, yeah.
Okay, excellent. So we'll save that. Okay, and then what we're going to do is I want you to go down to the other campaign that says local.
Okay, local.
On the dark gray bar.
Okay. Let me add one. Two more countries: Singapore and Hong Kong.
Okay, so go ahead and hit the blue button above. There you go.
Singapore, Hong Kong. I've also gone there on mission.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay. So then you're going to scroll down in that dark bar there, in the dark gray bar, and you're going to click local, and then you're going to go back to locations in the light gray bar. Oh, it's going to pull up locations by itself. There you go. Now click the pencil icon. Okay. And what we're going to do is you're actually going to remove United States as a country. Remove that. There you go. And then we're going to zoom out. So actually, I apologize. Click radius. Little box there. Yep, there you go. Click on that. And then put in the address of your church.
Church address. Okay.
You can actually, do that. There, and it says it below. Meadows Park, Katy, Texas. Now, What you want to do is go ahead and hover over your address, and there should be a pencil icon that pops up. No, in the target location there. Yep, hover over that. See that pencil? Click on that. And then change the radius. Now, let me just point this out too, so we understand the strategy. If you're spending real money, you don't want to advertise further away from your church than people can really drive. Okay.
Okay.
So that's probably 10 miles, maybe 15, depending on if you're near a highway or something. Now you have tons and tons of money, and this is not going to spend very much of it. So let's go ahead and just put in 100 there.
100 miles. Okay.
100, and that will probably circle all of Houston. Okay.
Okay. 100 miles. Okay.
Save that.
It will. Okay. I should click save.
There we go. So that just gives you a big chunk there. Okay.
Yes.
And you're not going to get a ton of people from outside, Houston area, but
it will increase the visibility. Yeah.
It does. Yeah. And so that's just what you can do with the Google grant, just because you can. So there we go. So now we have, and this is where we'll probably end our call. So we have your campaign set up. We have your ad.
I've not saved it. Should I save?
Yes. If you got your ad groups set up, and then in our next call, we will go in and we will start creating ads and extensions. Okay.
All right. Okay. Okay.
Ooh, good work.
Oh, good. Thank you so much, Brett. Thank you so much, Brett.
Yep,
I will. I mean, I would have loved, but if it's not possible, I understand. Even if it is the raw footage, so that like after we end now, I can go over and over the video again until I get everything.
You get it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to look into it because I'm not exactly sure which software I can use to transfer it to, because this is a 2.5-hour video in full high definition, so that's gonna be like 20 gigs. So I don't know if I'm gonna have the ability to send it directly over to you.
Yes, I think Google Drive.
I think I'll look into it. I think even that has limitations though.
Okay.
So let me look into it. If it's possible, I'll just upload it to Google Drive. Also, this takes a couple hours to download from Zoom as it is, because of the size of the file. So let me look into it. I don't think I'm going to be able to have it to you today, but hopefully I can have something by next week. Okay.
Okay. And thank you very much.
Of course, but I'll make sure we definitely get it to you. And also, you can continue working on the content for all of these.
Yes.
And we'll continue to do the ad campaigns together, and I'll make sure to get all this to you. So you, of course, can continue after all of our trainings are over. But the content, the more you get of that, the faster we'll get this thing spending.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You betcha. My pleasure. And I'll look forward to talking to you. I'll send you a link and we can book something for next week. Okay.
For next week. Okay. Thank you very much. And please, my regards to your precious family. Please.
Of course.
Your wife
and you as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks so much. You have a wonderful afternoon.
Okay. Bye-bye. Thank you.